Zone.
Greetings, my fellow Fright Fiends. It's your buddy Boogeyman Ben here for another episode of Boogeyman Ben's Horror Zone, and this is going to be part of my Shudderific series. To what Shudderific is, it's films that I've watched on the app Shudder, which is exclusively horror films. It's an app that's been designed by horror fans, and you can really tell because of the quality of the films that are on the Shudder app. I mean, I've seen some fantastic movies. Completely blows Netflix out of the water in terms of the horror films that they are showcasing. Netflix just feels like they're just putting out anything, and a lot of it is crap. I'm going to say 95% of it is crap that's on Netflix. That is why I stopped that horror flick picks on Netflix series that I was going to keep doing, because there just wasn't anything good on there. I'd see one or two good movies. You know, you'd have your Hushes and Hush and a couple other good ones. And the rest were just garbage. So I quit doing that one, and I'm more excited about doing this Shudderific series because it's actually quality horror flicks. So the one I'm going to talk about today is a film that I found out about on Joe Lynch and Adam Green's Movie Crypt podcast when they interviewed, well, they didn't interview, but he came on the podcast as Bobcat Goldthwait. Of course, I knew him from the Police Academy movies and things like that, Scrooged, a lot of things like that growing up. But he did a horror film called Willow Creek. And this is a film I really wanted to see back then when they first, had him on the show and everything, but just never got around to seeing it. It became available on Shudder, and so I checked it out. And I have to say, this film is fantastic. I talked about it when I showcased the new Blu-rays and DVD pickups that I did recently, but Willow Creek is probably one of the best found footage horror films that I've seen since the Blair Witch Project. I absolutely loved it. I really loved the way that Bobcat directed this film. You really identify with the two main characters, and I love how the film has a very different tone at the beginning. When it starts, it's very kind of tongue-in-cheek. I mean, of course, it's dealing with two people that are going to explore the legend of Bigfoot, and they're going to this area around Willow Creek where all of these Bigfoot Sasquatch sightings have taken place, and what they end up having happen to them is they're getting lost in the woods and they're getting stalked by something that you can't see. And the tension in this film is just so well done. There was times that it really freaked me out, and I was watching it one night, like in bed with my headphones on, and I was creeped out, and I actually had to shut it off for a second, because just the way that it's shot, the sound effects that are used in this are just fantastic. You really feel like you're being circled or followed by something. Jim and Kelly are in their tent, and the shot of that is fantastic, because Bobcat Goldthwait does a continuous shot, and I believe it was over 20 minutes of just a shot of them reacting to what was outside their tent. And Bryce Johnson and Alexia Gilmore are fantastic in the film. You really, really identify with them. They're real people. Their reactions to what's going on is very realistic. And the ending of this film just shocked the shit out of me and really got me. Can't say enough great things about this film. Bobcat Goldthwait is an amazing director. I've seen a couple of his other films, like World's Greatest Dad with the late Robin Williams. But I hope he does more horror films, because, like I said when I talked about this one, in that video where I talked about, some new pickups, the Blair Witch movie is a disappointment to me. It was hyped. It was supposed to be like the greatest, horror film to restart the horror genre, or something new that was going to change the face of the horror genre. It didn't do that for me at all. And it was a very big disappointment for me, because I love the people behind the making of that film, because they had done The Guest and You're Next, which are two of my favorite films that have recently come out. But yeah, this movie did for me what I wanted Blair Witch to do for me. So on my scale of rating films, I would definitely give this one 4.5 skulls. And Willow Creek is still available on the Shudder app. I will put a link down below where people can check out Shudder.com. Cannot recommend it enough. It's one thing that I'm going to recommend 100%. It is fantastic. They do some fantastic stuff on there, and they have some amazing film collections, series. Just can't say enough great things about Shudder and the movie Willow Creek. So that's going to be it for this segment of Shudderific. Please let me know if you guys have seen Willow Creek in the comment section below. Would love to hear from everyone. And as always, thanks so much for watching Boogeyman Ben's Horror Zone, and I'll talk to you guys later. Take it easy. Stay scared. Peace. Peace.